That morning in Edinburgh was as normal as any other, until a long interview with Empire magazine was released. In the article, Sam Heughan, the star of Outlander, was asked a seemingly simple question. If you had to define yourself in one word, what would it be? Number one expected his answer to cause a stir in Hollywood. Sam was silent for a long time before answering. He did not choose flashy words like star, handsome or talented. He did not say successful, nor did he choose famous. Instead, he just smiled and said, "Warrior." Immediately, the reporter asked why. And from there, Sam opened up a story that even longtime fans had never heard. He said that before he became known as Jamie Fraser, he spent nearly a decade living in poverty. At one point, he was sleeping on friends' couches, eating instant noodles every day, and taking roles so small that his name wasn't even credited. "I almost gave up," Sam says. "But I learned to pick myself up after every failure. I don't allow myself to be defeated, and that's the nature of a warrior." What's more surprising is that Sam isn't just talking about his career. He mentions the silent battle against psychological pressure that many actors endure. There are days when he has to fake a smile on the red carpet while inside he's a storm of anxiety and self-doubt. "Warriors don't always win," he says slowly. "But they never run away." The quote quickly went viral on social media. Fans everywhere used the hashtag #SamTheWarrior, sharing personal stories that Sam had inspired them. However, not everyone agreed. Some tabloids have suggested that he is painting his image to attract sympathy. One critic even wrote, "Sam Heughan is such a good actor that he could turn his whole life into a romantic drama, and now he's casting himself as the hero." Sam has read the criticism, but instead of responding, he has kept quiet. At a fan meet in London, when an audience member asked about the negative reaction, he simply smiled. "A warrior doesn't need recognition. They just need to know they're fighting for what's right." That determination has earned him even more admiration. When asked about his longtime co-star Katrina Balfe, he said, "I've known Sam long enough to understand why he chose that word. He fights for everything, for his family, for his friends, for his crew, for his fans." That's not acting. That's who he is. In the days that followed, the phrase, "warrior," became synonymous with Sam Heughan. Media outlets from the US to Europe picked up the story, not only because it was surprising, but because it reflected a side rarely seen in stars who are often surrounded by the spotlight. When asked if he regretted being so honest, Sam simply shook his head. "If I can't be honest about myself, what else can I be honest about?" And perhaps it is this honesty, more than his fame or looks, that makes Sam Heughan an icon. Not because he is perfect, but because he knows who he is, and dares to define himself in just one word: warrior. When Sam Heughan's "Warrior" went viral, it not only inspired but also sparked a series of side stories. Entertainment newspapers began to dig into his past, searching for everyday moments to prove that "warrior" was not just a saying, but a way of life. However, in Hollywood, the halo always comes with a storm of doubt. An American magazine quickly published an article with a shocking headline. "Sam Heughan, Warrior or Master of Image Strategy?" The article revealed, inside sources, that Sam had intentionally created a one-word moment that defined himself to attract public attention, especially when the new season of Outlander was about to premiere. Immediately, social networks exploded with controversy. One side affirmed that Sam was sincere, the other side said that it was all just a PR stunt. Amidst the chaos, Katrina Balfe suddenly spoke up on Twitter. "I've known Sam for over a decade. If you've ever seen him backstage, you know that 'warrior' is more than just a word. It's how he lives his life every day." This tweet garnered more than 500,000 likes in just 24 hours, becoming the strongest proof of the truth Sam shared. But the story didn't stop there. A late-night talk show in the US invited Sam to participate with the goal of clarifying all the controversies. When the MC asked directly, "Do you think you're using the warrior image to serve your work?" Sam smiled, but his eyes were more serious than ever. "If what I say can help someone get up after a failure, I'm willing to let it be seen as a strategy." "Sometimes, the way you live is the strongest message." The audience applauded enthusiastically. Some people shed tears. This response clip went viral on TikTok, making Sam the emotional center of the week. However, what surprised everyone was that the following week, a story about Sam's past was revealed. A BBC report revealed that in 2011, when he was still not famous, Sam had organized a fundraising event for children with cancer in Glasgow, even though he had only a few dozen pounds in his account at the time. He ran 50 kilometers, and all the donations were sent to the local children's hospital. Sam never made this public. When the reporter asked why, he simply said, "Warriors don't do it for medals. They do it because the battle needs to be fought." This immediately became the new slogan of the fan community. A series of t-shirts, mugs and posters with the words were produced, not for commercial sale, but to raise funds for charity, and Sam was the one behind it, silently supporting it. Meanwhile, studios began to take notice. A famous Hollywood director admitted that he had called Sam to cast him in a blockbuster action film because of his warrior eyes on a talk show. This news further convinced the public that one word had changed the trajectory of his career. But in the midst of his career being pushed high, another rumor appeared that Sam himself was facing a new battle, this time not related to movies or the media, but personal matters. A paparazzi photographed Sam leaving a clinic in London in the evening, his face calm. Newspapers immediately speculated about his health. Fans were worried. The hashtag #StayStrongSam appeared. Just a day later, Sam decided to post a short video on Instagram, sitting in his small kitchen, wearing a gray sweater and no makeup. "I wasn't seriously ill. I was there to visit an old friend who was in treatment. But the moment I walked out of the clinic, I remembered that we are all fighting something. Whether it's our health, fear, or just a bad day. And that's why I chose the word warrior. It's not just for me, it's for everyone." The video touched millions of hearts. Comments were flooded with thanks for Sam, keeping the word alive, not just with words, but with actions and empathy. At the end of the year, a major magazine named Sam Heughan Most Inspiring Man of the Year, not just for his role, but for turning an interview into a widespread movement that helped thousands of people find their motivation to live again. On the day of his award, Sam walked up to the stage, looked at the silent audience, and said, "I'm not sure I deserve this title. I just know, if you're listening to me today and you feel like you're not strong enough, remember, a warrior is not someone who never falls. They get back up every time they fall." The entire audience stood up and applauded. And at that moment, no one doubted. Warrior was not a gimmick. It was the whole of Sam Heughan, in the movies, in real life, and in the hearts of those he touched.